Well, let's talk about firmness for a moment. Of the 7 tools that we use in parenting to bring about change in our children, which, by the way, come from our understanding of how God works with us, we've already talked about relationship, and relationship softens the heart. That's the purpose of the relationship tool. It's also the conduit through which we pass values. Firmness is another tool, and the purpose of firmness is to build character. So it changes the patterns. When you think of firmness, don't just think of consequences. I find that parents move to consequences too quickly. Think about structures that you set up in your homes. This is the way we do things, and you tighten that up a little bit. This is the firmness that we have. For example, I was working with a boy who had attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and we were using a heart-based approach to bring about change in him. We were quite successful as we work with these children who have this challenge. And this boy had a problem at 7 years old of coming into the room and taking over the room with his voice. Everything has to stop because this boy comes in, and so Mom wanted to work on some change in this area. So we set up a plan that this boy would need to stop, look, and listen before he engaged. A great plan. Once we have the plan, then we can enact some firmness. And so the firmness in this case was to stop the process earlier. The boy walks in, starts talking without seeing what's going on, and Mom would just put her hand up and say, "Whoop, why don't you go back out and try again?" And this drew attention to this new way of thinking for this boy, and it changed his tendencies over some time so that he would learn this. Firmness is so valuable. We set up these structures that help children to make some changes in their lives. Firmness is a powerful tool that we use, but let's not confuse it with harshness. Harshness is this emotional response that communicates we mean business. We don't have to have harshness to have firmness. We need to tighten our action point up here a little bit, and that will help us. But don't just think about firmness in terms of consequences. We'll do another one just on consequences, because consequences are important, and sometimes firmness does require consequences. But really what we're trying to do is tighten up this idea of firmness so that children learn new ways of thinking, new ways of acting, and that happens. That's what character is. It helps children to develop some new ways of processing life, and we're going to use firmness as one of our tools to do this. Sometimes parents feel like they're afraid of firmness, and they want to emphasize relationship, and that relationship is really important. But many children need firmness in their lives, and that firmness says no, or that firmness says this is how we're going to do something, because that's what helps give the children the structure they need to have the character that they're going to develop in their lives. If you'd like to hear more biblical parenting tips, follow me here.